Hi there. I'm Wayne Duvenage, the CEO of the organization Undoing Tax Abuse, commonly known as OUTA. And I want to answer a question that we often get, and that is, why doesn't OUTA start a tax revolt against this abusive government who's wasting our taxpayers' money? And it's a good question. I think we're often asked that question because we were quite successful, or very successful, in the ETOL debacle, where there was essentially a tax revolt, which we drove and led. But it was a very different kind of tax revolt. It was a very focused tax revolt on a policy that was irrational and needed the type of intervention that we introduced. But when it comes to a tax revolt on matters of just general tax abuse by the government, well, it's a different matter. And I think one needs to position this as, firstly, is it possible? And secondly, if it was possible, what would it look like? Well, firstly, it's probably never possible. And the reason for that is you have to have big business on board. Without big business, and they're the ones that pay over the PAYE, the VAT, the company tax, these are the main segments of revenue that flow into government. Without their involvement, it doesn't happen. You get a few provisional taxpayers and others that might want to do this, and probably won't if they're asked to do so. The reality is, unless big business is on board, it's not going to happen. But let's say you could convince big business, come on board, we're going to go and have this tax law. We're not going to pay taxes over the government. Well, then it becomes an issue of be careful what you wish for. Because what happens is a country and a government that is not able to pay its police force, its army, as dismal as ours is, teachers, hospitals, nurses, ports authorities. Well, the country just comes to a grinding halt. Anarchy and chaos just ensues in an environment like that. And it's stuff that you can never undo. It's hard to work back. And the practicalities of trying to take those funds, let's say you could pay all of them into a trust account and then ask civil society, okay, but you can go and pay all the police their salaries and the ports authorities and the doctors and the teachers. It's just impossible. It's impractical. We don't have the information, don't know who to pay. So, long story short, it's probably never possible from a business participation point of view, but it's chaos, even if you could try and pull it off, even if you were successful. You don't want to live in a country that goes down that road, I can assure you. So a tax revolt, to the extent that we're often asked to get involved in, is a bit of a fallacy. It's not possible. It's possible at a local government level and in small municipalities where the courts get behind civil society and rules that an institution within the town takes over the management of government funds because they are being grossly misused and maladministered. It's possible there, but normally only in small municipalities. And by the way, there has been legal precedent set for those cases, and they've happened successfully. But those require the involvement of those entities within those towns and cities. And it needs to involve a formal legal process to get legal approval. And we've seen it happen well in Mangaung, and we've seen it fail, by the way, in Westville, where the Westville Ratepayers Association got taken out in court trying to introduce a localized tax revolt. So you've got to be very careful when you introduce them in that area and that level as well. So I hope that answers your question as to why we at OUTA just don't believe, from a national point of view, that a tax revolt is a good idea or even possible. Thanks for listening.